everyone, this is Anna with the Potomac Bead Company, and today I'm going to show you how to create the Moroccan Lattice Bracelet. We're going to build this bracelet in diagonal sections. We're going to have these little diamonds that we build, and then we're going to attach them back and forth as we work down the length of the bracelet. You're going to need 2 clasps for this bracelet. You can see here I have a loop on one side and a cup button on the other, and when I bring the other end together, you can see how this is going to work. You have a diagonal end to your bracelet. It's not straight like most bracelets that you do. So to clasp this, I found that this worked really well for me, to have the 2 cup buttons there, and you can see the ends here really well, that they are on a diagonal here. They're not straight like we normally have. So ahead of time, you want to think about what kind of clasp you want to have, because you do need 2 of them, whichever you pick, whether you do a lobster clasp, or you have a hook and eye or a toggle, or use the button like I do. You just need to make sure that you do have 2 of those set aside. You can see here I have my 2 cup buttons. These are the white DarkTravertine. Other materials that we're going to use in this bracelet are the RounDuos. I have these in a white champagne luster. I have 3 beads here. I have 2 11-0 colors and I have 1 15-0 color. You don't need to have all 3 of these beads if you prefer not to. You can have 1 11-0 in the place of these 3 beads. But for the video, I'm going to use 2 11-0 colors and 1 15, and I think it'll be a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing and to follow. And I also like the look of that. That's how I did make this bracelet here. You can see my 1 11-0 color really sort of outlines those diamond sections. So if you like the look of that, you're going to want 2 11-0 colors. And then I also have some drops that I've used here along the outside. You don't need many of those. And I have a white red luster drop. You're also going to need the MiniDuos, which I have here in the center here. These are a mint luster, a white mint luster. And then I have some Potomac crystal, Rondelles, and gold champagne. I'm going to use those where I have an 8-0 seed bead here in my sample. I have another little section that I've been working on, and you can see that my Potomac crystal Rondelles in the center between the RounDuos, they just kind of add a little bit more sparkle. They fill up that space a little bit more. So if you like the look of that, you want to use a Potomac crystal Rondelle. But in the sample here, I did use just an 8-0 seed bead. So that's another option. Anything that is small enough to fit in that space, you can use. You want something a maximum of probably 2 or 3 millimeters. The other bead that you're going to need is for the center here in the middle of these MiniDuos, and that's just a 4 millimeter bead. I have some Czech glass faceted 4 millimeters, and these are in an ivory color. Besides the beads, you're going to need some needle and thread. I have my Wildfire here in green 0.006. I'm using the green because that's going to blend in really well with my colors for my beads. And then I also have slip-in snips to cut my thread. I just prefer cutting rather than thread burner, but a lot of you prefer the thread burner. And so you can use that in place of my slip-in snips. I have my flat nose pliers handy. These are just really useful to have anytime you're doing a thread project. And then I have super glue glue for gluing my knots. And then I'm also going to need a needle, and I'm using a needle in a size 10 here. I'm going to go ahead and get my board here, my mat set up, and pour out all the beads I need, and then I will meet you guys back here and we'll get started on our bracelet. When you're ready to begin, you're going to start by making one of the diamond sections that make up the whole length of the bracelet. The diamond section is made up of a center piece here with the RounDuos and whatever embellishment you want to add between those, and then the outside and the inside line of 11s. I have an outside line that you can see here in the gold color, and I'm going to be using a mauve lined light topaz luster for the one I'm doing today. And then I also have an inside line here in a copper color, and the copper color I'm going to replace with a, this is a matte metallic olive seed bead. We're going to create 1/2 of this diamond here. It is going to be a little crescent shape. We're going to then add the RounDuos in the center and then create the other half, the second crescent over here. I have my needle and thread here with a stop bead at the end, and I'm ready to begin my first diamond. I need 3 of the outside color of my 11s, a MiniDuo, 1 of my 4mm beads, another MiniDuo, and another 3 of the 11-0 in the outside color. And if you're only using 1 of the colors of 11-0 seed bead, then you're just going to pick up that 1 color for both the inside and the outside line of that little crescent shape that we make. I now need to pick up 3 of the inside color for my crescent, and I'm going to take my needle through the open hole here of my MiniDuo, and this is going to be this form this inside line here of the crescent. 1 more 11 in that inside color, pass through the next MiniDuo, and then I'm going to pick up 3 more of that inside color, pass my needle through the very first 3 beads that I picked up that are part of my outside line of 11-0s, and then also through my MiniDuo. My thread is now coming out between the MiniDuo and my 4mm bead on that top or that outside line of this little crescent that I've made. Take my needle through and jump down to the inside hole, the inside line of the crescent. I'm going to take my needle through the MiniDuo and through the 3 11s at the end there, and I'm going in the opposite direction now. So I kind of made a little U-turn in my project, and I have my thread coming out of my 11s here. I'm going to now add the RounDuos in the center here. I need a 15, a RounDuo, the embellishment that I'm going to put between. So for me, that's going to be a 15, a crystal rondelle, and then another 15. I need another RounDuo and another 15. I'm now going to bring my needle from the outside to the inside of the project and cross through the 3 11s that are going to be opposite of the 3 11s where my thread is currently coming out of. And I'm going to cross through those 3 11s, the MiniDuo, and I'm going to continue down through all the beads that make up that inside line of my crescent there. I'm going to continue through the 15 and the RounDuo, continue through that center embellishment there between the RounDuos, and then the next RounDuo as well. Coming out the top of the RounDuo, I'm now facing, the thread is now coming out facing what is going to be the outside border of this side of the project. So I'm going to pick up a 15, a drop, and a 15, and then bring my needle down through this open hole of my RounDuo, and this will add a little accent, as you can see here on the sample one that I have. These drops will just add a little accent to that outside edge. I'm in position now to to add another little embellishment here between the RounDuos. So I want a 15, a crystal, and a 15. I'm going to bring my needle through that open hole in my next RounDuo. And I'm now in position to make the second crescent here, the other half of my diamond shape. I need a 15 here, and then I'm going to pick up 3 of my inside color of my 11s. MiniDuo, another 11, a MiniDuo, and another 3 of that inside color, and one more 15. I'm going to come through the RounDuo opposite of the RounDuo that I'm coming out of. So you can see I'm coming out the bottom here of this RounDuo. So I'm going to jump up to the top and come through this whole line of beads through the center. Through this RounDuo again, the one that's closest to me. Through the 15, and all of the beads again that form that inside of my crescent. And I'm going to stop when I'm coming out the top there of my last set of 3 11s. I now just need to add this outside line of 11s to form the outside of my crescent. I'm going to pick up 3 of that outside color, and I'm going to go through that open hole of the MiniDuo, pick up another 4mm bead and go through the next MiniDuo, and then 3 more of the outside color of 11. And my needle is going to go from the outside to the inside of the project through the 3 11s and the MiniDuo there on the inside of that crescent. Give a tight pull, and I'm going to make a little U-turn and go through the outside line of 11s and that MiniDuo there. And that is now one completed little diamond section of the pattern. Now the next thing I need to do is add a second diamond section to it. To do this, I'm going to pick up 3 more of the 11s that form that outside section, or that outside border. I need another MiniDuo, one of the 4mm, another MiniDuo, and then another 3 of that outside color for my crescent. I'm going to pick up 3 beads for the inside color of my crescent, cross through the open hole there in my MiniDuo, pick up another inside color for the crescent, go through that second MiniDuo and pull tight, and then I need 3 more 11s in that inside color. I'm going to take my needle and run it back through the 3 beads that we picked up to attach the second section. So you should have a line of 6 seed beads here in the outside color for the crescent, and I'm going to go through the 3 beads closest to the diamond that I'm currently working on. Go through those 3 seed beads and through the MiniDuo. I'm going to make a little U-turn here and jump down to the hole in the MiniDuo on that inside track of the crescent. Go through the 3 seed beads as well. And I have my thread coming out here sort of in the middle of the project here. And I want my little crescents. I now have this one completely finished. And I want them to be facing in opposite directions. So I don't want them to be sitting side by side. I want them to be facing opposite directions like such. I need to now add those round duos in the center. So I'm going to pick up a 15, a round duo, a 15, a crystal, and a 15. One more round duo, and another 15. Bring my needle through these 3 11s here, opposite of the 3 that my needle is currently coming out of, and I can cross through the rest of the beads that are going to form that inside line of my crescent. I'm going to continue through the 15, the round duo, the 3 beads between my round duos, and the next round duo. So now my thread should be coming out opposite of where I attached my first drop, and I'm now on the other side, the other outside of my bracelet here. I'm going to add another drop. I have a 15, a drop, and a 15 on my needle, and I'm going to take my needle through the open hole of that round duo. Another 15, a crystal, and a 15. Through the open hole of the second round duo. And now I'm ready to add the second half of my diamond here, the second crescent. To do this, I'm going to pick up a 15, 3 of that inside color, a MiniDuo, one of the inside color, a MiniDuo, another 3 11s in that inside color, and another 15. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the hole in my RounDuo opposite the hole that I'm currently coming out of with my thread. And I'm going to go through all the beads here, my RounDuo, the 3 beads that I have between the RounDuos and the next RounDuo, and give a nice tight tug. And then I'm going to go through my 15 and all of those beads that are going to make up this inside line of my crescent. I'm going to stop when I'm coming out of the top or the last of my 3/11-ohs here, and I'm in position to create the outside of that crescent. I need 3 of those outside color seed beads, and I'm going to go through my MiniDuo here through that top or outside hole. I'm going to pick up another 4mm bead and add this between the MiniDuos here, and then I'm going to pick up another 3 of that outside color, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to go through the 3/11s here on the bottom, on the inside track of that crescent, and through the bottom hole of the MiniDuo. Make a little U-turn here, go through the MiniDuo, through the track on the outside track of the crescent, and the 3/11s there on the end, on the top, or that outside line. So now your project should look a little something like this. You have 2 diamonds completely finished, and you're ready to add a third. So the third one you're going to make exactly the same way that we just made these 2. The only difference is that you're going to pick up 3/11s here in that outside color, a MiniDuo, and then we're going to share the 4mm bead that is going to be from this little diamond section here that's going to be sitting right next to the diamond section that we're making. So we're just going to share these 4mm beads as we work down the length of the project, and that will help hold everything together. So to continue here, I'm going to do another MiniDuo, and then another 3 of that outside line of my crescent. I'm going to pick up 3 of that inside color of my seed bead, go through that inside open hole of the MiniDuo, another of my inside line or my inside color for that crescent, and then pick up another 3/11s. And like we did up here, we're going to find these 3/11s closest to the one that we're currently making, the diamond that we're currently making, and we're going to pass through these 3/11s and the MiniDuo. And give a pull here. I'm going to take my needle through the MiniDuo and the 3/11s here on the inside of that crescent, coming out these 3/11s here, and now I'm in position to add my RounDuos. So I'm going to just continue with this pattern. I'm going to finish this diamond here and continue to add my diamonds as I work down the length of the bracelet until I have it the length that I need it to go around my wrist, and I'm going to leave about an inch or so for my clasp. So when we get to that point, I'll meet you guys back here and we'll work on adding our clasp. I've now completed 16 of my diamonds. I have 8 running along the top and 8 running along the bottom here. You want to make sure that you have the same number of diamonds on the top and the bottom. And if you do, the ends will align together, and now you are ready to add your clasp. After creating the last diamond section here, my thread is coming out the 11/0 on the inside here of my top line in that crescent, or this outside line here of the crescent. And I want to come up to my 4mm bead here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace through the inside line of the crescent and then up through the top until I cross through that 4mm bead. So I've gone through the bottom or the inside here, and I'm just going to jump up to the outside line and trace through here until I go through the 4mm bead. I'm going to add a loop for my cut button here. So I'm going to pick up 3 11s, a MiniDuo, and then a total of 26 more 11s. Once you've got these 26 11s on, you're going to come through that open hole of the the MiniDuo. And you can just test this out and make sure that your button goes through there without any friction. I want 3 more 11s. And then I'm going to come back through the 4mm bead. I'm going to just retrace my steps and go back through all of these 11s that I just picked up. And I do this just to reinforce the end here, since this is your clasp and you'll be touching this quite a bit and playing with it to get the bracelet on and off. So it helps to reinforce it a little bit. And I'm going to cross back through my 4mm bead here. I'm going to continue through my MiniDuo and my 3 11s on that outside track of that crescent. So now my thread is back where it started when I first started to add my clasp, and I'm now ready to move over here to do my button. I'm going to pick up a line of 4 11s, and then come through the 4mm bead here, just like I would to attach another diamond section. I'm going to pick up 3 11s, a MiniDuo, 2 more 11s, And then I'm going to pick up my button. I usually pick up 2 or 3 11s here and then cross through that open hole of my button. On the other side here, I'm going to pick up 2 more 11s, go through the open hole of that MiniDuo, and pick up another 3 11s. And I'm going to cross back through that 4mm bead. Crossing back through all these beads, all my 11s and my cup button, just to reinforce everything. Back through my 4mm bead here. And I now have one end of my bracelet finished. I'm going to tie this off, and all I'm going to do is take my needle and thread and make just a little knot around the thread that's already running through the beads. And I'm just going to go back through some of these beads to hide the tail of my thread. And then I will cut that off and glue it. Cut off my tail there. And use a little dab of super glue where I have my knot. And that is how to add the clasp to your bracelet. I'm going to go to the other end here and make sure that I add the, glue that to my mat. I'm going to go to the other side here and just repeat the same steps. I'll have to add a piece of thread there. I've already tied off my tail on this end. So I'm just going to add a piece of thread and continue by adding my clasps the same exact way that I did on this end. And you want to make sure that whatever side you added the loop to, if you added it to the diamond here that was sitting above the one next to it, you want to make sure that you do the same on the other end here. So I want to add my loop to the diamond that is sitting out further than the one next to it on this other end. So you want to make sure that you add the loops and the buttons to the same ones on either side. Hope you guys enjoy making the project and enjoy wearing it, and thanks for watching.